So tonight we meet Dee from Two Good Doers. She is an Instagram account that I started to follow last year, and I'm really enjoying following her and Tom and all their training and their progress over jumps. So we chatted all things horsey. I have not been lucky enough to meet her in person yet, but that is something we will have to do in 2021.
So I was the grand old age of 3 years old when I was first put on a pony. That does not translate into I've been riding successfully for 28 years, just to put everyone's fears at rest. I started when I was 3 because my 2 older sisters bullied my parents into letting them start. And then eventually when I was old enough, like they started a few years before that, and when I was old enough, my mother offloaded me to the stables every Saturday as well as my sisters. So it was just one less to mind.
Yeah.
And I was kicked out there, and I started riding on a little pony called Billy Joe, who was a terror. He was a little fat Shetland, and he was a nightmare, but he was just perfection on 4 legs. And I always had an affinity for the slower, lazier ponies. So I always got who I wanted to ride in the riding school, because I didn't ever want the fast ones, because even at that age, I was terrified. And I still maintain that had I not been put on a pony at 3, I definitely wouldn't have gone to riding when I was an adult. Like if I came back to it, or if someone said to me as a 20-year-old, do you want to go ride a horse? I'd be like, no, that sounds awful. But luckily, I did start riding when I was 3. So I'm not as scared as if I had started riding when I was older. I have to say, like, well, everyone wants a ribbon from Dublin, don't they? So a ribbon from Dublin was probably my biggest. I'm still just delighted. I'm still chuffed. But yeah, we came 4th in 2018 in our showing class, and it was just the best day. It was the absolute best day. It was wonderful, amazing, and I cried like a blubbering mess when they gave me my green ribbon. And I still
allowed.
Yeah, yeah. Like I suppose the ultimate dream is the sash in Dublin, and Alba will know what I'm talking about there. But yeah, the ribbon from Dublin was absolutely just one of the best moments I think of my whole life. Never mind just horsey life. It was just amazing.
And did you do the lap of honour?
I did, yeah. I did, and Tom was really hot at that point. He was losing, because the sportsman hunter classes, the amateur hunter class in Dublin is what I did. There's one class for
yeah.
And it's on at the same time as the Puissance.
Yes.
Yeah, so let's ruin all the poor amateurs when they're trying to show. We won't put any of the professionals in then. So God bless them, the horses tried their best, but even the judges said to us, look, if you want to walk your horses around while we're in the lineup, it's okay, because like everyone knew the whole shh, and then the scream would go on and the poor horses lose their lives. But Tom was a saint the whole way through. But then when we went to the lap of honour, it had gone to his head, and he was doing his lap. He was doing it, and then he jogged across the concrete back to the warm up. With like eyes were rolling in his head. He was for losing it at that point, but sure, he was perfect up to then, so didn't matter. So the trot into 2021, I was thinking about this quite a bit the last few days. So like the next kind of, like, I suppose, ridden goal, like in training wise, I want to work on our collected canter, and then use that to help work on our flying changes, which are a little sloppy, with the aim of getting up to medium by the end of 2021. So I suppose there's a few steps in place to get there, but that's the next big goal, is hopefully do a medium test by the end of 2021. Usually what I would do is I would like think about what's in the realms of possibilities, and then I just aim for the next step after that.
Yeah.
So it has to always be a little bit unachievable for me to want it.
Yeah, really. Same here. Yeah.
I don't. Tom gets the majority share. He is the absolute priority. No, I definitely, that's something I should work on as well. Once all this nonsense is over, that'll be a post-COVID aim to try and balance a little bit better, because Tom does, I'm too willing to give all my time to him when it's not necessary. Well, probably like what we were just talking about, my biggest strength when it comes to Tom anyway is that like his care comes above everything. So he does have the best I can give absolutely every day. And that keeps him in tip-top condition. He's happy, and his happiness and his well-being are just so important to me. And if he could talk and he said to me tomorrow, I hate this, I don't want to do this anymore, let's just hack, I'd be like, okay, well, fair enough. But because I think that he likes tinkering away with his brain, I'm happy to keep going. But at the same time, like with the last question, it's probably an awful weakness as well, because I'm like a hypochondriac by proxy. So I worry a crazy amount about him when there's nothing wrong. And I'm sure it causes me like a lot of stress.
Are you then kind of somewhat satisfied when there is something wrong? Because then you're like, oh, now I have something to like do, like,
yeah, I would hope, like, yes, the answer is yes, but I would hope in my head that satisfaction is not the word I would like to use. But like, I feel like I go into like mommy vet mode, and I'm like, right, what are the steps here, what do I do, where and when do I do it? And I have such a focus, and I because Tom has a few like little reoccurring things that I know how to deal with now, that when I have that, I can just like, I feel like I can manage it and I'm in control. I'm an absolute control freak. And when things are going along smoothly, I get nervous that something is about to happen. Like, so I'm either freaking out because something's about to happen when everything's fine, or I'm a little bit freaking out because something is happening. As long as I can manage it, I'm okay. But definitely, like, I worry about him too much. Like, and it definitely, like, oh, just silly things set me off, and I could be lying here like at 2 o'clock in the morning in the house being like, should I just go out and check on him, or and just to put my fears to rest, and I have to quieten that voice an awful lot. So yeah, I'm a psycho, and I really love my horse. So not famous, my friend Tom's best buddy Philip, I'm angling to get a spin on him. He just looks amazing. I gave his owner a spin on Tom a while ago in the hopes that, you know, get the ball rolling. Yeah, but it didn't happen. So I'm going to keep nagging her. She knows I want to have a spin on him, and she's like, oh yeah, of course, but we just never get around to it. Yeah, so he's the Palomino. He pops into my stories every now and then. He's an absolute gem of gems. He's a sweetheart. He was bottle raised. He was orphaned as a foal, so he's like a sucker. So if you go over to him, he'll try and suck your jumper, even though he's 14. He's an absolute pet, and him and Tom are best besties. So love Philip. So I want to get a spin on him. But if I had to pick a famous horse, I think it would be Catherine Defore's Cassidy. I'd love a go on that ginger hunk. Love it. He is just spectacular, and he's in so many ways, like he kind of has a temperament like Tom, and I just think that I'd love a spin. I'd love to feel that power and his elegance, and I'd love to give a spin on him. Yeah. The Riding Club Festival is always good crack. That is a serious little weekend in itself now. Obviously didn't go on last year. I am sad that it's moved out of Stradbally. That was brilliant, all that stuff. So and then otherwise then non-ridden badminton is just class.
Oh, you've been, have you?
I've been. It's amazing. The shopping is sick. And you'll always find an Irish rider to walk the course with.
No way.
Oh yeah, totally. And it's absolutely brilliant. It's brilliant fun.
I'd say you'd want good shoes or boots to walk the course.
Definitely. The year I went now, I walked it 3 times.
Oh man.
And it is long. It is crazy how far these horses run. A single pole, and then I step out. Well, actually, don't need to step out specific, but just a bit away. I have 3 poles then on a fan on a semicircle. And I walk over the first pole, and then I direct transition to canter, and then canter out over the 3 poles. And it's a real thinker for them. Really good at engaging his bum and getting his canter up, like from a walk to a real bouncy canter straight away, because he has to sit on his bum to get over the poles in his 3 strides. So I was working on that the last few days, and he's really starting to kind of get it now. He has the idea. Now, I was trying it the other way, where I canter over the 3 poles and then walk before the single pole, and that was an absolute shit show. So we're not going to get that anytime soon. But that stuff, yeah, I like that. Or I put 3 poles on, just on, like, on a circle, a nice big circle, and I just canter in between them and walk over the pole, canter in between it. It's just because Tom's canter to walk transition, he's a little intense. He's expecting you to pull the head off him, and I just need to teach him to sit back on his bum. So when the pole is there for him to see that it's coming up, he'll bring himself back a little bit more, because he knows that he has to walk. So try and choreograph space there, that then I can maybe do it one day. Look, sorry, Judge, would you just mind slipping out a pole there where I have to do my walk transition? And that would be ideal. Well, I suppose if I'm having a spin on Catherine DeFore's horse, she could have a spin on Tom. That would make sense. Maybe we could do the riding club pairs dressage and a little musical ride with 2 big chunky chestnuts. That would just be beautiful.
Oh yeah, you on Cassidy, her on Tom.
Perfect. That would be perfect. Doing our prelim tests. I don't think Cassie's probably ever done a prelim test. Yeah, no, I'd love to see Catherine DeFore crack out something on Tom. But in real life, definitely one day soon, hopefully, I want Serena of Makeups and Muck Heaps to have a spin. I want to see her crack a tune out of Tom. We've had this conversation, and she's like, no, he's not for me, he wouldn't be for me. And I'm like, no, he definitely is. He's for everybody. Tom is everybody's friend. So
sure, I would say he's very similar to Cisco in build.
Yeah, it totally is, 100%. And they both seem like they're quite gentlemanly. So I think she'd be really well suited. So I think we need to go and have a pony play date, and I'll go hack out Cisco, and she can take Tom, and we can have some fun. Advice. Okay. Non-horsey related, I suppose. I'm a big kind of believer in your vibe is your tribe. So the vibes you put out to the world are the people you're going to have back with you. Your support circle, your people are so important, that the people in your circle want you to succeed, and they want to cheer you on, and they want to be there for you. So my advice to people would be, get the right people around you and hold on to the good ones, and don't be frightened to maybe put people who don't bring out the best in you to the side, because there's no point in saying that someone is a nasty person. People are just how they are, but I judge it by how I am around people. Do people bring out a shitty side in me? And I think that it's really important to be able to identify that when you're not acting your best, and then to identify how that's come about. But definitely what you put out to the world, they're the kind of people you're going to get back. So if you're a shitty asshole who's being miserable to everybody, you're going to be surrounded by shitty assholes who are going to be miserable to you. And if you're really pleasant to other people and you want what's best for them, you're going to have those people in your life. So that would be my advice. Just be what you want to see in other people.
I like it.
Thanks.
Very good.
That'd be it.
I hope you enjoyed watching, and please comment and share, and keep watching for more episodes.